Rustenburg Civic Theatre. We are COMFESA, the Choral Opera and Orchestral Music Federation of South Africa. My name is Timothy Wagazulu, and as usual, we are sitting here this afternoon to discuss issues that affect our choral opera and orchestral sector. And with me this afternoon, I've got this beautiful panel that you can see here. And because we are in Northwest, we are in Rustenburg, just to remind you at home, we are about advocacy. We are into development. We talk professionalism. We talk the issues of commercializing this sector. And we will be looking and unpacking at how we can reshape Northwest and where Northwest is currently in terms of the development of choral and opera music in this part of the province. And colleagues, welcome. So maybe just to start on my right-hand side, if you can just introduce yourself quickly, 30 seconds, not a CV, but a short bio.
Thank you, Mr. Facilitator. My name is Khosi Munaisa. I'm a board member for COMFESA, and I've been part of the choral fraternity for several years in different capacities. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elle Williams, and I run a public relations and communications agency. I work a lot in the arts, in financial services, in healthcare, and so forth. And yeah, I do publicity, media, marketing, and things of that nature.
All right.
Hi, my name is Cheki Maila. Just in short, I've been in school chorale since 2000 until I left the teaching. And also I've been the organizer of chorale within the province all the years until I left the teaching. Therefore, chorale is my other life. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick Tigolo. I work at UCT as associate professor and head of vocal studies. Thank you.
Dumelang ba botlhe, leina la ka ke Nkonono Mantswe. I work at the Rustenburg Local Municipality, the Directorate Local Economic Development, where we are responsible for everything that has to do with the economy, the diversification of the economy, the commercialization of our emerging entrepreneurs. So arts, culture, that is a component of choral music and opera music, is what we are here today for. And we are hoping that with this symposium today and tomorrow, we will be able to enhance that sector of our economy and to grow our youth into professional singers. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you very much, colleagues. And as you can see and hear for yourselves, this is the cream in the industry, and we're excited to have them here. We are in Rustenburg, colleagues, in the Northwest Province. And one area I want us to discuss very shortly in Brajeki, we're seeing a fragmented development in this part of the province. If you go southern part into Klerksdorp, Potchefstroom, and you come further north in Rustenburg, Moretele, in those areas, there is imbalance in terms of choral development. We're seeing more singers in the south and more choirs down there, and hardly anything in Rustenburg. In fact, when we did auditions, we struggled to get people in Rustenburg, and we had to make plans. Where is the problem in Northwest?
In essence, I'll be forced to indicate Eastern Cape and indicate KZN. You see, the strength of KZN schools is in the adult choirs or community choirs. But the Northwest has collapsed that there's hardly a community chorale.
Why? What led to that space where there's hardly any choirs, particularly in Rustenburg, yet there are choirs, good choirs for that matter, in Poch, Klerksdorp areas?
I may not even be accountable to that, nor even account for that, because my focus was always into the schools. But I've observed it affects also the schools.
Yeah.
Because there's no interest also in the parents. Maybe the Rustenburg people, they do too many shifts because of the mines. They've got no time to give the children over.
Yeah.
But the interest of after-hours activities, it has gone down. And it's not only in Choral. No, luckily I've worked also with the sporting activities. Just extramural activities in the communities.
Yeah.
It has gone down. The standard has gone down. Even the facilities within the area, you could see the standard has gone down. But exactly what is not what, maybe me together with the arts and culture and others, we need to bring the heads together and try to check where could the problem be.
Sorry.
Because there is a problem somewhere.
There is a problem. I guess what we're trying to paint here, particularly, I'm going to come to you, ma'am, is that there is an imbalance in the province. The province is not balanced in terms of choral development. It's one area that we believe as COMFESA we need to be mindful of as we take this journey forward, and possibly take particular attention to those specific areas. Now, we have maybe let's start here. Jose, you were part of the National Choir Festival in the olden days, not so long ago. Did you also find that generally, the compared to other provinces, the standard of singing or choirs in this area lower than other provinces?
Look, I wouldn't make that judgment outrightly. I would say it is a problem that is quite common in other provinces, you know. And I think it's just a matter of not having properly constructed structures in place to run the business of the choral music. That is the biggest challenge. So we need to constitute ourselves in a way that we are able to manage those structures appropriately. So another problem is the vastness of the province. And you also talk about the districts that are within the province. If you don't have an active and fully fledged umbrella body within the province to ensure that within the districts we've got little structures that are properly constructed with the right people in the seats to drive the initiatives that would have been put in place.
I'm going to come to Dr. Patrick, because we're touching now on the second point. I'm going to come to you, ma'am, now, because these issues, I think, are going to be fitting into your space and your department, issues that we believe are very, very sensitive and need attention. But you're coming from the Western Cape. I'm going to leave UCT for a moment. In your journey and experience as a music practitioner, what Jose is discovering is that there's hardly a solid structure in Northwest. There's no administrative structure that is governing the development, setting up sustainability of choirs as such. What seemed to work in the Western Cape in your experience that we can probably sell to this province?
Yes, I think first of all, if there are structures anywhere, it means things are taken care of. Western Cape, of course, currently you can say things are not as you last heard of, or rather so, because sometimes it's this regime, and there's a regime change, and things would actually go differently. But of course, Western Cape has a track record in terms of the good running of the choral program. It's always going to be about who is there. What is it that they do to make sure the program is running, to make sure there are events, because sometimes we cry out to say there are events but no audiences.
Sure.
But
sure.
again, the value of what is put before the audiences.
Yeah.
In other words, is it worth it for somebody to leave whatever they are doing elsewhere to say, we come and watch what is put there by this choral association or something? The point I'm saying is, it will go back to the governance.
Yeah.
How is it governed, or are these people dedicated enough? Do they have in their hearts what it is that even the people who get to sing, the participants, the singers, in other words, do they take care of actually what it is that would help see them as this thing is kind of taking them forward?
Yeah.
In other words, it just must not be programs that are there. People must always try and find things that will be impressive enough for, first of all, the participants.
Yeah.
Later on, people who must come watch these participants.
Well, without a formally recognized structure, administrative structure for our choral sector, we won't get far. I think the story you're trying to paint. From a government perspective, because I know we in our observation, there's a lot of emphasis put into sports, and not so much into the music space. There is a little. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but there's quite a little. How would you rate the commitment of the municipalities in general in this area in terms of supporting choral music?
Okay, first I would like to echo what Ndate Patrick has just indicated.
Yeah.
He spoke about the quality of the output as well as the value for the participants and the value for the audience. You know, with regards to choral, sports, or any other economic project that the municipality must or is embarking on, there must always be economic value, because the local people are supposed to be able to sustain themselves with whatever it is that they are doing. Now, for example, this is the new project for Rustenburg local municipality. Sure. And I think because we are the host city for this particular symposium, it is going to be the very first one. And what we are seeing as the officials of the municipality is that first, there is value. The youth are taken out of nothing and given professional training, so there is value that Patrick has been talking about. And then the municipality, us as the officials of the municipality, would like to grow this program from COMFESA. You have opened our eyes to that. We would like to grow this program and make sure that it reaches more and more kids. It's not just this event, but later on, more and more kids are going to get involved and grow the choral and opera or professional music scene in the area. The challenge that we are facing as municipality, not as government, because there are spheres of government. The challenge we are facing as the municipality is that that is where everything happens. That's where the people are. But then the people experience a whole lot of things, and poverty is among one of those things. So they will be on survivalist mode most of the time. Now, if you come in and say, we are talking about choral music, we are talking about arts, we are talking about, then if a person is hungry, they will not really hear you. But if you give them something and then you say, let's do this, let's do arts, then you see. That is why we are looking at developing this program into a more longer term kind of a program. As much as municipalities are not geared for higher level economic development programs, but we need to start planting seeds.
Start there,
because that's where the people are, and that's where the poverty is felt, and that's where the need is most experienced. Yeah, so Ntate Maila, as a local person, is involved in sports, is involved in chorale, and we are hoping that from now, we will be doing a program that will ensure that music as an economic commodity is developed in the local area.
That's exactly why we're here, to make sure that we get this engagement and this communication. But El, something beautiful is coming up, and Ma'am is talking about the engagement from municipal level. In your view, from the marketing perspective, there are a lot of singers coming from different municipalities here. Your advice, what should they be doing to get recognition and penetration into municipal spaces wherever they live?
Thank you, Tim. That's a great question. I think it is important for all artists to understand that if you choose to make a career out of the arts, then that makes you a business person. That makes you an entrepreneur, right? You are the business person, and you are also the product. You know? And I think it's important at the outset to think of it in that way, and to get very familiar and comfortable with the general principles of business, you know, across the board. Obviously, in addition to the specifics of the music business, right? When we talk about publishing rights, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think to make yourself essentially a chosen service provider for a municipality, right?
I guess what you're saying is
to think about yourself in those terms. So when we talk about branding, people will think, oh, it's fonts, logos, colors, and so forth. But it's actually more than that, you know. Are you punctual? Are you friendly? Are you flexible? Are you prepared? Are your rates reasonable relative to what you deliver? You know, all of those things. And so I think it's important that we instill in young artists from the outset that mentality of, you know, take yourself seriously and treat your career like a business. And then you will find it easier to, you know, to make inroads, wherever the case may be it with a municipality, be it with an event booking person, you know, and so forth. So I think that is the key.
We've spoken about a gap around the unavailability of an administrative structure in this province that manages what we do, our genre. And I guess what you're saying is, even with that, you can say, I am here, I am a singer, I can entertain, I can commercialize myself, let me go out and visit her office and present my story. I guess that's what you're saying in a nutshell.
Absolutely, and take the opportunity to network, you know. For the singers who are here today, you have an opportunity to make an impression. Your talent it's clear, you know what I mean? So how can you position yourself such that people remember, oh, so-and-so was there. Oh, you know what I mean? It's about thinking of it in that way.
I just want to talk about mainly about what we're starting here as COMFESA. But before we get there, Jackie, we get a lot of good Saskia products coming out here, but we don't see that graduating into adult choirs. Where's the problem?
I think everything, it is revolving to the structural formations. Because the Saskia structures, they are not responsible for the formation of community structures. But at the same time, the Saskia structures must be able to work a bridge, a transition from the school point of view into the community point of view. As a result, the two structures, they more special for the sake of the child, because in between, it is the child.
Right.
It's a building block. And the Saskia structures, they are there, they are compelled to be there because it's a directive from the schools.
All right. So I'm a grade 12 learner. I've been a singer. I love music. I can't find a choir. What do I do in your experience?
It is true what you're saying, but I'm happy my colleague indicated that he has been in the adult structures. Very limited, but they are there. Went all out and went overseas from this province. I know about 2 or 3 of them which have gone international out of the choral music. People might not even know, but per se, be glued to the choirs. I'm wondering what is happening because choirs are struggling a lot lately. They're really volunteers in terms of being organizers of the choirs. They're very, very scarce. And structures, as you have said, at the school level, they are not equally strong. They are stronger in the other provinces, rather in the other districts, and their mediocrity in the other districts that are really below par. And once the structure are below par, obviously the production is going to be poor. The product won't be there.
If there is an initiative, Ma'am Kululana, I'm going to come to you. Just 10 seconds if you can answer. Would the municipality and the district, particularly here, in your opinion, support the formation of an administrative structure that will manage our affairs?
Yes, because at the moment we are looking further than this. We are looking at stretching this into a medium-term program that would be spread across the wards. Because I was here talking to one of our visitors from the Eastern Cape, and what she proposed was that if we can start early and get involved in municipal wards, get the kids from the ward level to audition and to start participating. And I think that is a great idea. It will make sure that all the kids have an equal opportunity of doing that. And in terms of the administration part of it, I think from the municipal side, the administration side of the municipality, we can try to set up a structure within the municipality that will involve the people, the leaders from the community, who will be able to assist us in running these things. Because as municipal officials, we are not knowledgeable in things.
Right, great.
So, yeah.
So you hear for yourselves, wherever you are in Northwest, all corners of this province, do not sit and do nothing. And you can hear our leaders are waiting for us to come forth from that cocoon and do something. But Jose, as a last point of discussion, we are starting this beautiful initiative here. We are here in Northwest for the Symposium Choir. What a noble initiative by COMFESA. But this is the beginning. But what do you think should happen to make sure that the province sustains what we're starting here?
Thank you for the question. I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question. I think as COMFESA, being the umbrella body within South Africa, there's a lot of things that we would like to do. One big thing is to develop a governance framework that would guide how structures should operate across provinces. But that's one part. So you can have that good governance framework. It's all about human behavior at the end of the day. I mean, we create rules. People don't read those rules, but people are not accountable enough to make sure that all stakeholders are kept abreast of developments in the respective spaces. We don't account enough to our sponsors. So those are challenges that are very common in this particular fraternity. So we would like to see everyone being involved. We need to create solid partnerships with stakeholders that would really be committed to help us take this to another level. One important thing that, that we often talk about is the availability of human resources. Not talking about money. We do recognize the fact that a lot of people who are involved in the work of Coral do this as second job. They do have primary jobs. And that's where the struggle is. A whole lot of people in structures, they've got something that is primary to them that brings bread onto the table. So the level of commitment from everyone who is involved is an important one.
But don't you think, and you're touching on a good point, the root cause to that is because we're not commercializing the space. So no one wants to occupy an office and not get paid. But if we were running this as a business and we get business sectors to invest in what we do, then we can pay office administrators, we can pay marketers, we can pay conductors, we can pay practitioners. Isn't that where the problem is?
It is part of the problem. And as COMFESA, I think there will be an announcement very soon because we are looking at bringing everybody into the room to talk about policies. And that's the policy conference that we will announce in the near future. Because it's all about what do you think could work for all of us? COMFESA as an umbrella body is there to help create framework for everybody to benefit from those frameworks. So we need to bring everybody into the room.
Right.
Brilliant ideas that are coming up through these members of the panel. And with a policy conference, I think we should be able to get all the information that is required and package it in a manner that would then say COMFESA as an umbrella body is really driving the work of Coral within South Africa to the right direction.
Right. So I'm going to come back to that in my conclusion. But Jackie, we've started here now. You saw the singers and they're performing tonight. They are wonderful. The talent that is here is just amazing. Your picture, your dream about what we have started here, what would you like to see happening in your province?
The wish is that this can cover the rest of the province.
Sure.
This information can reach all the districts. But secondly, what COMFESA came with in a short space of time, where they end up recruiting youngsters by dangling the carrot. And in that carrot, they call it the stipend. Is one of the opportunity which is missing. Because a number of youngsters which were here, one of them said she sang only at the primary schools. And she was here on the stage singing as a solo.
Yeah.
When I asked, she said, I only sang at the primary school. I never sang. And I'm at the FET, I'm in the 5th year, but I've never sang.
Great.
You can see that.
And what you're saying is if this were to filter down into districts and the larger part of the province, we will get far. Now, Bet, how would you advise a singer that was here today and someone that was not part of the choir, maybe couldn't get a chance to audition, and is sitting even in a district that is not taking part today, maybe in Greater Taung or Gokaikai, what would you say in terms of what we have started here? And I'm going to come back to Mama later when we close, because we are saying this needs to be filtered down into province, districts. Now, there's a child that says, I can't even sing. I'm not sure if I can sing, but I love this. I love to enter into this space. What will be your words?
Thank you. It is important that they get supported from the word go. Right now, COMFESA took it to one level.
Yeah.
There's levels that must follow this level. And it's not everybody from out there that COMFESA will bring here. They must see from the ones that are in this program that there is hope. Them participating here also, they must not take it for granted that I'm inside and everything else can be. I'll take it, I'll be kind of on autopilot, and they don't care. We need to enforce discipline.
Yeah.
You saw me trying to make a bit of that earlier. Also because no one will respect you if you don't respect yourself.
Sure.
It starts with
Yourself.
this being appreciated. Appreciate yourself before anyone can appreciate
Sure.
you. So if they actually treat themselves as models of some sort to those who are still out there, who kind of aspire to be where they are. I know there is talent. This province has talent. What the Poch University is doing, all of us in the country can see.
Yeah, yeah.
They have stepped into another level in terms of quality of singers that come out of that institution. That institution is in this province. If it is far enough, fortunately, I saw one of the people that was helping here, Patrick. It's not only Patrick. Lots of graduates from that institution, they are all over. But they need to be engaged in saying, as department or as government, we need those young people helped in terms of them getting out of the streets, doing something they will get something out of. In so doing, you are saying to this one who's going to help them, he has a job. He will take them underneath his arm, train them accordingly, and when they get trained, automatically it will still mean jobs to them. Because at the end of the day, we need all of this space commercialized. We need seriousness. We need choral conductors to actually be given attention.
Yeah.
In other words, they must come to choir, know that I'm training a choir, but what do I take back home?
Sure.
Because I spend the entire afternoon and sometimes evening, but I go home barehanded. Some of them, they don't even have jobs. And they wait for kids that come out of school. And one thing I wanted to say, sorry, I'll get off a bit. Most people get to graduate from being choristers.
Yeah, yeah.
The main reason is that they think, no, we're beyond that because it gives us nothing. They start finding a job or going elsewhere. They think, I no more belong there.
Yeah.
People must keep on singing because they see the value of being in the choir.
Right.
When choirs must start being able to help them as well.
And we're talking about development of and professionalization of this sector here. Now, earlier on, we spoke about the need, and one of the technical directors specifically said we need business sector. Now, and we see from also what Josi just discussed a few minutes ago that with this infiltration of COMFESA and municipalities need to happen. Do you think that in this province and in all municipalities, if we had to set up a structure where you communicate with COMFESA and have a business in Daba, that is something that your offices would support?
Can I just put my head on the block?
And that's what we need. That's why.
And talk for Rustenburg?
Yeah.
We were excited when COMFESA, the opportunity came up. We were excited from the department that I work for, and we sold the idea to our executive.
Sure.
And they bought into the idea. And we also proposed that we do this on a more longer term,
Yes.
on a more sustainable basis from the local economic development perspective. Now, Ntate Khosi there mentioned stakeholders. We in the Northwest are blessed because we have a uniquely Northwest Setswana genre of music that was popularized by the likes of WHP
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
you know, Dukes, who we luckily have here
Yeah.
today. We have them. They are available. They are visible to us. They have been knocking on the door of the municipality talking about development.
Sure.
But unfortunately, like I mentioned earlier, municipalities are all about basic services and a little bit about economic development.
Yeah.
But now we are trying to switch it around so that we can stimulate the economy so that the basic services can do themselves.
Sure.
Yeah, so our view is that the local stakeholders, like the already commercial artists who we have around us, will be able to come on board as stakeholders.
And I guess what you're saying
Thank
is it's critical, it's important. I just hold on the mic a bit. To marry these artists with existing artists.
Yes.
And I'm sure you will agree, I'm going to come to you now. But I guess that's what you're saying, to gain utmost recognition.
Yes.
Let's use what we have, marry these kids with existing artists
Yes.
for super recognition, and then they can start commercializing their space.
Yes, and you know, most of the time, people develop because of the mentors that
Sure.
they have.
Yeah.
So mentorship is important to grow the brand, as Elle has indicated. So stakeholders need to come on board, as Ntate Khosi has indicated. Ntate Maila is there, our local established artists are there, and now the young talent that has been discovered here is here, and the commitment from the municipality. And as municipality, we can be able to draw business like we are hoping to have this evening. We tried to invite our local business stakeholders to come for the evening showcase.
Sure.
So we can harness those kinds of stakeholders, pockets of stakeholders, as the municipality, as well as the provincial and national government departments, so that we can try to create something that can be more sustainable.
Right, great.
Thank you.
And before we close, we're going to have just 30 seconds of closure. But Elle, surely, assuming that this happens and we have this MOU working between COMFESA and municipalities here, just please advise municipalities and leaders sitting out there, how do we market, how do we advertise this thing, how do we show the value proposition of who we are?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, right now South Africa is so hot on the international music scene. I mean, there are just no words. You know, Tyler just won the Grammy for Water, and that is just one example. I think through the advent of social media, people have really started to realize the amount of talent, and I'm talking world-class talent that exists in South Africa, right? We are known as a nation of people who sing. So even the average South African just in the house, you know what I'm saying, can typically carry a tune, let alone the type of talent that we see here today. Proper operatic ability, which is the most elite form, if you ask me, of vocal talent, right? And so I think it's important for us to realize that we've got something that can really be taken onto the world stage. And make a difference to the lives of the people who are involved, and also to our prestige globally. You know, it's who we are. It's one of the major gifts, I think, that we bring to the world. And so I think that it is really, it's quite an easy sell, if you ask me, to be able to say, look at what comes out of our communities, you know, and these are people who can perform on any stage worldwide. I mean, Sidumo can, you know, speak at length about this. But yeah, I think that there are many opportunities, and I honestly think that the talent that we have here, given the right support, given the right infrastructure and so forth, I mean, it can take over the world.
I think what you're saying, if you think no one is watching, there is social media platform, there's YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and all these platforms. make yourself known, and we'll talk into that. Josie, your last 30 seconds.
We do recognize that, in today's world, the corporate sector is now focusing on environmental related initiatives. They focus on social related initiatives as well, because the world has moved to a different direction. I think arts is in the back burner. So we're not going to sit here and say, because we do not have adequate sponsorships, then we're not going to move forward. I think we need to develop an economic model that would help grow our choral sector. What is it that we can develop? All of us putting our minds together to say, in order to commercialize this particular musical genre, how do we put the money on the table? And
what model do we use? Yeah.
Well, it takes us back to all stakeholders being in the room and saying, we've got choristas, most of them are youth, they are unemployed, but how do they also contribute to that conversation? We seem to be leaving them, in the back seat and think it's us who are actively involved in the economic world that could come up with suggestions.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, we need those solid structures. We need to re-identify what model we're selling and who we want to become. I guess what you're saying. Oh, your last 30 seconds.
I just want to reiterate, what I've been saying about how I really hope that through this symposium, the choristers who have been here, as well as those who are watching at home, can see that it is absolutely viable, to take music and make a career out of it, even an international career. When we were in the audition space and I was interviewing some of the choristers and hearing what are their aspirations and so forth, many people said, oh, I would love to perform on big global stages, I would love to, and I really just want to reiterate the point that that's absolutely possible. It is possible, It's just about having the discipline, as Prof has said, taking it seriously and believing, and persisting, and just go for it, because the talent is there, the ability is there, and there are ways and means. But I think that if everybody unites in commitment, then we can go very far.
Thank you. We can go very far if we expose ourselves, we make ourselves available, we believe in ourselves, and we sell ourselves. Jackie, last 30 seconds, not 1 minute.
Thank you. I should believe.
Yeah.
Firstly, I know there are 2 adults group in Rustenburg, which have got choral. The pensioners, educators, your Moskika, your Gertrude, it is there. The second group is coming up now, I know. It is at Olympia Park, Kopanong.
Wow.
Of the ex-educators that train in there. But what I also want to share, you can make a 10 after one sipping. 2 years back, they produced a quartet which went to the national.
Wow.
You'll wonder that all those children, were they absorbed, were they schooling? They might be somewhere, they might be helpful. They'll do something good for you. Lastly, if not least, Ntumbi Futi, who did music up to a primary school, who is here. You need to talk and use her as a torch. That she never did music, and she was able to be given a space and to be a soloist at this level. Therefore, any other thing is possible.
Any other thing is possible.
Any other thing is possible. Mind you, he did the pretty song. He did it on her own. She Googled it and sang it for the first time, and she performed it well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything is possible. Patrick, just your last 30 seconds before we conclude.
Mine is easy. Commercialize, and commercialize.
Yeah.
By saying so, I think if government, the stakeholders, private sector, can actually create a performance stage for these young people. Those choirs, we will not be talking this language.
Sure.
Everything will change for the better, once and for all.
We need to relook at commercializing strategies, and in closing, I'll talk about the policy conference that's coming. But ma'am, your last 30 seconds.
When you do commercialization, we will be there. When you do strategy development, we will be there. When you do all the activities from the grassroots, we are there as the municipality. We are available to COMFESA. We are available to the academic institutions. We are available to the local people. We are available to the business sector, as well as the established artists and the local bodies. So we are central to this project.
Wow.
And we wish everybody to come on board so that we can grow the commercial, the sector properly.
Thank you very much. Wow. Just to summarize before we say goodbye, thank you to these lovely individuals. Thank you for your opinions and experience and wisdom in the part of this discussion. But if you're sitting at home, we have identified there's a lot to do in this province. Positive things, we have superb artists that seem to have nowhere to go. And one area we have identified is that there's no administrative structure to manage what each individual chorister is doing. On the positive side, we're saying there are ways. You can't just sit and do nothing. You can take a step, advertise yourself, go to a business sector, go to municipalities, force your recognition, because we are. We have also identified that it's a good practice and it's a good thing in this province to blend our genre for recognition together with the existing artists, whether it's gospel artists, jazz artists, pop singers, so that we actually elevate ourselves, and eventually people will realize who we are. There is a gap identified in terms of the choral singer, adult choirs that seem to have disappeared, and possibly it's because most choirs were relying on the previous competitions which now don't exist. There's also no structural linkages between SASKE and the bigger structure, because that structure does not exist in the first place. So if you are a choral practitioner in this province, you are a conductor, former conductor, you are a writer, we have a composer, you are a professional practicing in music, please come forward, talk to us. Let's try and assist the province in setting up an administrative structure. And we're talking about commercialization. We really appeal to business sector in this part of the province. We've got mines here, that we've got factories. We're not only looking at government, but the business sector at large. Come forward. You know, there is value if you invest your money in this sector. We also, as a federation, are partnering with a lot of media sectors, radio stations and television industry. You can get a value linkage and a value proposition if you as a business plow your investment in this era. Now we have started this journey here, and there is full support that we need to take what COMFESA has started here in Rustenburg today, together with Klerksdorp singers, into all districts. And I think the commitment we got is that there will be a business in Daba. There will be an MOU between COMFESA and Bujanala district first, and then obviously filtrating later to other districts as well. And then we hope that that engagement will then open up symposium choirs in those districts. Jackie, before I can see something is itching in your back.
Maybe with this opportunity,
yeah,
we might have an answer from you. a composer, wherever he is,
Sure.
Matsambo, it could be any other composer, Mahali,
How, yeah.
Mahau, you see that. What do the composers benefit after composing their song and their song is played on the radio stations?
Yeah.
What is the royalties in return to them?
Right.
I wish it can be answered today before the public, because the world is listening.
Sure.
Thank you.
We'll talk about those issues. In fact, the last thing I want to talk about, 30 seconds, is that we, as COMFESA, will be holding a policy conference which will lead to the AGM as well, nearly half of this year. So please keep your tab in our social media platforms when we announce these, particularly from this province. Please come in numbers when we do announce the policy conference, because it's an opportunity where we can shape the landscape of this genre as we talk professionalization and commercialization. Well, from us as COMFESA team and the crew, until we meet in the next province, goodbye.